freshman, that lad from Georgetown. So you can see on this near side, there's Oregon State, Ben Bertner and Ben Chapman, the powerhouses in the stroke and 7 seat. William Orgles in the Cox's seat. Next to them, the orange of Syracuse, Courtman Nickel and Ethan Graham. Ethan's a Kiwi from Auckland, but Court is from New Canaan, Connecticut. Joseph Blondiello from Colts Neck, New Jersey, another New Jerseyan in this race. The Huskies, Gus Altucher from Selwood, Oregon. Blake Bradshaw, the Kiwi from North Shore, up there near in the capital in Auckland. Boston, their 3V, George Kreidler, Dylan Faganey from Redwood City, California, and Osprey, Florida. Peter Adams, I think the Cox of that 8. And then we went over to Georgetown, and they are off. Connor Murphy and Neil Vivian, the stern pair. Jesse Law, the coxswain of Georgetown. And already, I think Boston have a lead over Georgetown.
Oh, absolutely. That's a brilliant start from the BU boat, just jumping right out and taking it right to the Huskies, because they know that that's going to be the other Huskies, yeah, right? Not the Howland Huskies, but the University of Washington in that purple boat. Not waiting too long, though, to take that lead back from the BU group. It is going to be Washington now with their bow out in front after just a few of these high strokes have passed.
Yeah, so I reckon in times these 3V would be pretty competitive with the 2V. And sometimes when they're doing head-to-head races, the 3V is going to be saying, yeah, we're beating the 2V. So I reckon they're going to be around 5:45 at the finish, 5:46 maybe. And the Huskies leading out there from Boston on their starboard side blades, and the orange blades, you couldn't miss them, of Syracuse. And
yeah, this is a younger event here at the IRA. It was brought in to replace the freshman 8, as the freshman rowing program, novice program, is not necessarily what it used to be with collegiate rowing, both men and women. So 3V may be more appropriate, allowing more people from upperclassmen to fill out some of these lower level boats for these programs. So let's toss it over to Fred and see what he sees on the water.
To the 500, this first heat of the men's 3Vs, it's the mighty Huskies from Seattle with a full length over Boston and Syracuse. Those three crews have really pushed away from Oregon State and Georgetown. Oregon State running in fourth, a length back of the orange, and Georgetown open water back of Oregon State. We'll come up a little bit on the bows to see the Washington crew, see what their rating is. It looks like about 37 and a half as they stride out now. Always have a strong 3V from the Huskies, but a really good tilt here between Boston and Syracuse. Boston with about a third of a length over Syracuse now as they approach the 1,000. Tom Bohr has really brought these guys along. And Dylan, as they stretch out now, they've punched it, and they've got almost a length over Syracuse now. Now fall back a little. Huskies out in front, open water ahead of Boston. Third 500, just business as usual for the Huskies. Come back some more. Boston turning over a little bit higher, but enjoying their run down the track. We got to fall back a little bit here so as not to wake Oregon State in lane 1. But it's pretty much a parade here with the white blades of Washington leading the pack. Boston University putting in a good performance, running in second. And they've got a full length, maybe a splash of open over Syracuse now. And then it's a length and a half open back to Oregon State. and further back for the Hoyas from Washington, D.C. Okay, we'll toss it over to the tower.
Big margins in this race, and camera panning back. Just talk about those blades there, Megan.
Yeah, so we noticed these blades from Oregon State, some specialty blades there. The beaver cutout that's on their blades is filled with the American flag. Very patriotic specialty blades here by the 3V from Oregon State. Not quite sure what that's about, so we'll have to stop in and talk to Coach Gabe Winkler and see what the messaging is there from their 3V equipment. But nice shot of them from the close side on our camera launch there. But you can see here just how spread out this field is in the 3V, and this is something that's not uncommon to see in some of these 3V events because the experience level and the fitness level, because some of these guys might be newer to the sport still, is just going to be a little bit more disparate than you're going to see in some of the upper level boats like the 1V and the 2V.
Yeah, we're on our camera from the top of the finishing tower, tracking Washington. They look to have a Clearwater lead. Altshuler, Bradshaw, Hall, Walsh, Rains, Galea, Martin, Akinisi, and Casey Neumann, the Cox from the Pacific Palisades in California. Never been there, but it sounds exotic. Syracuse, you can see there. The orange back in qualifying position. Cornell in second place. It is the most spread out 1, 2, 3 I think we've seen today. The Huskies won't mind that. They're getting a little bit of the helping tailwind as we come into this finish shoot, I call it. Just towards the final part of the race.
Yeah, and that's a nice place for the wind to turn for you, isn't it, as you're coming through the red buoys to get that nice friendly tailwind push. And the Huskies are across the line there in first, chased by BU. Good effort from them to overhaul Syracuse through the middle of the race.
Yeah, we should say, apologies for not saying at the start, that it is, of course, the first 3 crews, like the other 1V, 2V heats we've seen that go to the AB semis. And Oregon State there, with those fancy blades, they will go through to the CD semis for places 13 and below. And we just have other crews coming in now. Georgetown, I guess that is Georgetown, is that right?
Absolutely, that's Georgetown, gunning it all the way through the line, past the line. Good effort from them all the way down the track. Yeah, so we'll wait and see how the times shape up for this race. I think Washington is a good benchmark to see kind of what the standard might be for the 3V event here today.